An-Nūr, Arabic, may refer to the light of God or the Muhammadan light in Islam. The word An-Nūr means light in Arabic, Persian, and Urdu. It is often used in the Quran, notably in a verse that states God is the light of the heavens and the earth, which has been the subject of much discussion. Many classical commentators on the Quran considered that this should be taken metaphorically, as in the sense that God illuminates the world with understanding, rather than literally. The Andalusian scholar Abu Bakr ibn al-Arabi categorized An-Nūr into different levels of understanding from the most profound to the most mundane. Shias consider that An-Nūr in the sense of inner, esoteric understanding is inherited through the Imams, who in turn communicate it to the people. The Sufis consider that light was created first, then all other beings and things were created from it. There is controversy over the doctrine of an An-Nūr al-Muhammad, or the Muhammadan light, in which Muhammad is thought to have existed before creation. Sufis in medieval Bengal developed the concept into detailed narratives of the way in which the world came into being from An-Nūr. The Nur movement in modern Turkey, evolved from Sufi concepts, emphasizes inner understanding and control. The word An-Nūr comes from the same root as the Hebrew hour, the primal light described in the book of Genesis that was created at the beginning. The word An-Nūr, or its derivatives, occurs 49 times in the Quran. It is used in reference to God, Muhammad, the Quran, the book, the Torah, the moon, and the faithful men and women. Al-Nur is often used in combination with zulumat, darkness, in terms that describe movement from darkness into light, and from ignorance into faith. The word An-Nūr is also used in 8 basic referential meanings. The religion of Islam. Faith. God's commandments and moral laws in the Torah and the Gospels. The light of day. The guiding light that God will give to the faithful on the day of resurrection. The commandments and injunctions of the Quran. Justice. The light of the moon. The mystical Surah 24 of the Quran contains the ayat An-Nūr, the verse of light, Q 24:35, which reads, God is the light of the heavens and the earth. The likeness of his light is as a niche wherein is a lamp, the lamp in a glass, the glass as it were a glittering star, kindled from a blessed tree, an olive that is neither of the east nor of the west, whose oil well nigh would shine, even if no fire touched it. Light upon light, God guides to his light whom he will. The phrase light upon light, Nurun al-Nur, in this surah is often used among Muslims to denote the infinite beauty, guidance, and light of God. Classical commentaries. Most classical commentators other than Sufis took the statement God is the light of the heavens and the earth as a metaphor, and considered that God should not be literally equated with the natural phenomenon of light. Al-Tabari, 839-923, in his Jami al-Bayan says that the best interpretation is to substitute guide for light, as God is the guide of the heavens and the earth. Other interpretations make God the source of illumination rather than the light itself, as God lights the heavens and the earth. 5. The Persian scholar al-Zamakhshari, c. 1074-1144, says that the phrase God is the light is like saying Zayd is generous and munificent. This does not mean that Zayd is the properties of generosity and munificence, but that he has these properties. Al-Zamakhshari rejected the possibility of attributes separate from God, such as power or knowledge or light, which would be contrary to the unity of God. He interpreted God is the light of the heavens and the earth as meaning, he is the possessor of the light of the heavens and the owner of the light of the heavens. The light of the heavens and the earth is the truth, al-Aqd, which can be compared to light in its manifestation and clarification, just as he says, God is the friend of those who believe, he brings them forth from the shadows to the light. 2:257, i.e., from the false to the true, al-Aqd. Al-Ghazali, c. 1058-1111, wrote a treatise on how different types of light should be defined, and how the phrase God is the light of the heavens and the earth should be interpreted. In his view, light can have 3 different meanings. The first is the ordinary usage, an expression of what can be seen in itself and through which other things can be seen, like the sun. In Arabic the word light may also refer to the eye, through which perception takes place, and this may be a more appropriate interpretation. The eye of the intellect is an even more perfect organ of perception, and light may be used to refer to this organ. In this sense, light may refer to Muhammad, and to a lesser extent to the other prophets and religious scholars. A third interpretation is that light is the first light, al-Nur al-Awwal, and the real light, al-Nur al-Aqd, since it is the only light that does not take its luminosity from some other source. God is light, the only light, the universal light, and he is hidden from mortals because he is pure light, although he is omnipresent. Using the term light for any other purpose is metaphor. Another passage of the Quran states the earth will shine with the light of its Lord, Q 39:69. Mainstream exegetes take this statement literally. Exegetes of the rationalist Mu'tazila school of theology of the 8th-10th centuries interpreted the word Nur in this passage in the sense of the truth, the Quran, and the proof rather than the commonplace meaning of light. Shia exegetes take it to mean the land of the soul will shine with the Lord's light of justice and truth during the time of Imam al-Mahdi. Sufi exegetes take Nur in this case to mean justice, or take the statement to mean God will create a special light to shine on the earth. Shia belief. The adherents of Shia Islam believe that divine guidance continues to reach mankind through the progeny of Muhammad. The Imams have the function of conveying the inner, esoteric understanding to mankind. According to Nadia Abu Jamal, the Imams are the inheritors of his spiritual knowledge, ilm, the bearers of the light, Nur, of God and his living proof, Hujjah, on earth. According to the fifth Shiite Imam, Muhammad al-Bakr, the Imams are the mu'adhathin that are mentioned in the Quran, and are the light of God, Nur al-Hu. He was asked to comment on the Quranic verse Q 44:8, and believe in Allah and His Messenger and the Nur, light, that we have brought down. He replied that the Imams from the Prophet's family were in fact the light of God, Nur Allah, in the heavens and on earth. This spiritual light, passed down from one generation to the next, symbolizes the eternal knowledge that Muhammad passed on to Ali and his descendants. There seem to be two concepts. The Nur Muhammad is passed down through genealogical descent, while the Nur Allah is inherited at the time the previous possessor dies. The Imam has the Nur Muhammad at birth, but is silent until he receives the Nur Allah. The Nur Muhammad is the symbol of succession and the substance that connects Adam to Muhammad and Muhammad to the Imams. The Nur Allah is the symbol of prophecy, which the Imams share with the prophets and all men chosen by God. Sufi interpretation. To the Sufis, Nur is the first creation of Allah, and all other things and beings were gradually created from it. The Andalusian scholar Abu Bakr ibn al-Arabi, 1076–1148, elaborated the concept that Muhammad existed before creation. This is the doctrine of an Nur al-Muhammad, or the Muhammadan Light. The light existed before creation, and everything was created from it. The world is a manifestation of the light, which was incarnated in Adam, the prophets, and the Aqb. Ibn al-Arabi wrote, the creation began with Nur Muhammad. The Lord brought the Nur from his own heart. The Persian poet and Sufi theoretician Farid ud-Din Attar, c. 1145–1221, wrote, the origin of the soul is the absolute light, nothing else. That means it was the light of Muhammad, nothing else. The concept of the Muhammadan light was controversial, and the scholars Al-Ghazali and Ibn Taymiyyah, 1263–1328, rejected the idea that Muhammad was pre-existent. Instead they interpreted the primordial creation of Muhammad as meaning only that he was predestined. Later Sufis often used the less controversial term Muhammadan reality, Aqsam Muhammadiyya, particularly discussing the light verse. To the Sufis, light also represents what we know about our inner self, and darkness what we do not know. Ibn Arabi distinguished three types of light: Nur al-Anwar, the light of lights, which reveals the absolute reality in its most transcendent aspect; Anwar al-Ma'ani, the light of the intellect; and Anwar al-Tabi'a, the light of nature. The Kurdish philosopher Shahab al-Din Sarawardi, 1155–91, wrote, Allah's essence is the original creative light, always illuminating existence. It constantly manifests the universe and energizes it. Allah's essential light radiates the whole cosmos in abundant beauty and completeness. To be illuminated by this process means nothing less than salvation. Muhammad ibn Muafqdim, c. 1702-1763, writes that, protecting the spiritual heart from worldly thoughts can be accomplished by the spiritual heart's benefiting, receiving fade, An-Nūr light, from the spiritual heart of the perfect Sufi master. The spiritual luminance, fade, flows from one spiritual heart to another by way of love. Death of the perfect spiritual guide or his being in a distant country does not stop the flow of spiritual luminance, fade. According to Inayat Khan, 1882-1927, the soul is like a ray of the sun. The angels, who do not have physical bodies, are made of An-Nūr, or light, that comes from the divine Sun, the Spirit of God. All souls are made of Nur, or contain some part of that essence, which is the essence of the whole manifestation. Medieval Bengal. Hans Harder writes that in medieval Bengali Sufi cosmology the An-Nūr Muhammad is personified. The An-Nūr, created by the Lord, in turn brought the world into existence from drops of perspiration, gurma, gha with macron m, that appeared in different parts of his body. He says the concept is common in Mai Bandari writings, often used to describe the saints or their sensual qualities. Golan Morshed wrote an article that identified An-Nūr with Muhammad. In his Isla with Macron M. Prabandha Samr he wrote that An-Nūr Muhammad is the moving force behind all creation, and should not be seen as separate from Muhammad. He wrote, at the background antral of the creation, his Muhammad's An-Nūr, the An-Nūr Muhammad, is at play as the life breath of the creation. This is the highest secret of the play of creation, full of science Bijan May. Therefore Muhammad is not any special person, not confined to any specific country, race jadi or by any border. In the form of An-Nūr Muhammad, he is qualified Gunvada by the same quality as Allah. Lutfunisa Hosseini wrote a treatise Tod, part of which discusses the creation of the world from the time when An-Nūr Muhammad emerged to the time when Muhammad was born. She writes that the An-Nūr Muhammad was divided into 4 parts. From the first 3 emerged the pen, the Book of Destinies and the throne. The 4th part was divided into 4. From the first 3 emerged the angels that held the throne, the seat of the throne, and all of the other angels. The last part gave rise to the sky, the earth, heaven, and hell, and to a part that then gave the light of the eyes of the believers, the light of their hearts, the light of the Tawd and the Kalima. Lutfunisa Hosseini gives another account with reference to a Quranic commentary named Tafsir al-Kitb. In this version An-Nūr Muhammad was also used to create the An-Nūr of Adam, stored on his back. The angels gathered behind Adam to see the light. Adam asked the Lord to put the light on his forehead, and the angels came round to where he could see them. Adam wanted to see the light himself, and the Lord transferred it to his index finger. When Adam came down to earth, lights entered his back again, and the An-Nūr was then passed from Adam through the backs of various men and the wombs of women down to the parents of Muhammad. Modern Turkey. Said Nursi founded the Nur movement in Turkey, stressing patience and spiritual withdrawal after the secularization program of the 1930s and 1940s had crushed revolt. The adherents of the Nur movement and the Sufi orders in general consider that societal change will be enabled if individuals are redeemed. Negative feelings such as anger and shame should be controlled through inner mobilization. Said Nursi's textual-based Nurko movement evolved from the Sufi orders. According to the Nurko leader Mehmet Krknc, the son of Islam set down in 1925 and dawned in 1950 with the writings of Said, which enlighten the darkness of Kemalism with its light Nur.